Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Trending Thursday. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Always glad to be here. Always glad to have you here. If you can hear me, let me know in the chat with VV Nation to let me know that I'm coming across loud and clear. Okay. Is that creepy? I'm just curious. I'm asking for a friend.
Yes.
I'm,
No need.
I'm asking.
It is.
I'm asking for a friend. Is that creepy?
It is. Yes.
All right.
The answer is yes.
Jerry D is laughing about it, so it's not that creepy, not that creepy to him. Jake, I'm not listening to you, Jake. Is that Jerry says Jay? No. All right. So a lot of stuff going on affecting the market. We're gonna talk a lot about that. Looking at our looking at our color guard, man. 3 red lights. Make sure you tune in for tomorrow's video. I've already recorded it. I think it's going to talk about a subject that should be near and dear to everybody's heart who is investing in the market right now. 6 p.m. video on Friday. Don't forget to watch it. I think I'm putting you guys on the right path of what's going on in the market right now. Badger says it's funny and creepy, and he likes it. See? Claude says it was totally creepy. It is quantum creepy. Don't start, Jake. Listen, because he's like, what is quantum? I talked about it in the video. Excuse me, I talked about it in the video. Cigar's happy to be here. Where's Mark? If Cigar's here, most likely Mark. There he is. No. Don't start with him either, Mark. What is a quantum? I talked about it in the video. All right. So what's going on in the market? A lot of things are going on in the market, and not right now are they good things. As I'm looking at, again, the color guard on the home page, but I want to go look at the program and look at the software. Looking at a 3-month view of the VectorVest composite. Hi, Glenn. Jockey Clubber here. Welcome, Thomas. I'm glad that you're here. Hello, Jay. How is the mayor of New York? He's not the mayor of New York. If he was the mayor of New York, you know something? If he was the mayor of New York might be a whole lot better. I believe that Jay could make New York better. All right, what's up, Haas? All right, so here's remember, we look at about over 9,000 stocks, and looking at those right now on a 3-month graph, here was the actual high of the market was on 6/16. Since then, we've been down to include the 16th 4 days in a row. Now, there's another part of this. Look at the 3 and the 8 on exponential moving averages on the market. They're about to cross to the downside, which lets me know that I've got some downside in the market on the VectorVest composite down to at least a value of 55.25. Jay would say no more taxes. Hi, I'm here. Just got notification. I'm glad I'm here, and we got about 157 people in the room. You know me, I want to try to get us 300 people in the room. I need you guys to share the link, the live link. Joey's going to put it in the chat. Folks, it takes a second. Click on that link, share it with the people in your social circles, please. I think a lot of people need to know what we're talking about, especially if they are investing in the market or looking to invest in the market. Market slowly creeping back from Fed jawboning. Well, I am seeing it a little bit today with today's, the wick at the bottom of the candle showing me some buying pressure. But with that being said, Eric, I still got a bigger bearish body than I have wick. I do like that. We've got a little bit of push up. All right. Kevin says 300 people better bring bacon. Listen, if I can get 300 people by bringing bacon, I would. Hopefully everyone here has joined the VV Portfolio Challenge. I've talked about it. It's a video that's out there as well. It started yesterday. Today is lesson 1. I hope you help me with my stocks. We sell it at our stay short. Lots of question. I know. Should we get out today? Amir, give me an opportunity to let you know when I'm looking for your stocks, and I will look. All right, so I do see the wick getting a little bigger. As a matter of fact, let's move this from end of day to intraday 1-minute bars current day. There's that little run up right here. Now, think about this. We've had a few runs this morning up, and this is the highest level from the low this morning on the composite of 57.77. I do like, these were more parabolic, failed. This is more of a 45-degree angle and failing. Now we're on a 45-degree angle as well. This is intraday real time. All right, this is intraday real time. I've got a trend line moving up from the low, But if I go put on my day trading timing signal, the DTI combo, if I go put on that signal, oh, I don't know if I have a layout with that signal. Let's go see. I do. There it is. The DTI has been more bearish than bullish today. And even with this most recent run up, I see that the DTI bearish now flashed back to a yellow signal, back to a red signal, somewhere up in here. Now back to a yellow signal. So back and forth, that kind of a day today. So I do like the wick at the bottom of the end of day candle showing me some push off of the session low from this morning. But we do have a gap to go through, which is right about here, which is at 57.86. If the market's got some upside today, we're going to have to see the market, VectorVest composite break through that level. All right. Again, don't listen. So now I'm letting you guys know, don't put in your stocks yet. For every stock you start putting in right now, I will take one stock off the list that I will be looking at later. I'm warning you. I'm trying to keep it fair. Do not put stocks in now. I will let you know when I'm looking for your stocks. All right. I think that's a fair ask. I think that is a fair ask. All right. So let's wait until I give you that opportunity. If not, as I start looking at these stocks come up in here, I will be taking some off of the list. All right. So there we go. Just letting you know. All right. So that's the market as we look at it on an end of day basis. That's the market as we look at it on a intraday basis. Let's go see what news is making the market move today. And the first story that I got, I think, is more of a funny story. I wanted to start off on a comical tone. Did anybody see this story? This is out of Fortune. This came out today. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg are going to have a cage fight in Las Vegas. Has anybody else seen this story? Yes or no? I think that it's just clickbait. I don't know if it's really, really going to happen. I think that this is funny. I think that this is super funny. That's the reason why I'm starting off with this today. And if it's the case, if this really does happen, who you got your money on? Elon or Mark? Type it in the room. If this really does happen, who do you have your money on? Elon or Mark? And Joey, put up a poll. Put up a poll. If this cage match happens, who do you have your money on? Elon or Musk? Elon or Mark? Elon is 225. A lot of people are saying Elon. Elon's a big dude. Elon is a big dude compared to Mark Zuckerberg. Is that the meta? Wow, nice call, Mark. Is this a metaverse match? I like that. I do like that. Mark, he is a yellow belt in jiu-jitsu. Mark is a trained fighter. Well, if Mark is a trained fighter, why would Elon challenge him? If Mark is a trained martial arts. Oh boy. But Mark is somebody gonna break something. That's what's gonna happen. Somebody gonna break something. I'm wondering if there is a Jockey Club watch list folder asking for a friend. By the way, you look like you've lost weight. Just saying. Yes, I've lost a lot of weight. I'm doing right on my meds. All right, Joey, put the poll up in the room. Answer the poll in the room. I want to see the percentage wise. All right. Elon has a flamethrower. Elon will play dirty, says William. All right, so.
Is this the undercard to our fight?
I don't know. Oh, if it's our fight, Joey. Oh man.
Are they on the undercard?
Ooh,
We're the main card?
we are the main card. We would definitely be the main card. All right, so the poll is going, and that's cool. I just wanted to start off the session on a little lighthearted. All right. Meta BS. He is fake, and he is really fake. I like Elon better. I don't have Meta. It's totally ridiculous. No, listen. Wow, Joey versus Glenn. It's go time. I'm with that. Is it too late to jump into cement? It might be now, Stephanie. I'll talk a little bit about that as well. All right, what's really going on in the market? Higher interest rates hit home prices again. Where's Ravi? Ravi is always asking me about DRV. This is a time where I would be in DRV. All right, this is a time where I would definitely think about being in DRV. Higher interest rates hit home prices. Blah 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 blah. It's just a headline, so I'm gonna go back to my list and let's go to my big news stocks. I'm putting DRV in here. I think DRV is not a bad play if mortgages are still getting hit. It's up nicely today, about 4%. Let's go to the next story. We all know that Jerome Powell's been on the Hill, but another story coming out, Jerome Powell says big U.S. banks could see a 20% increase in capital requirements. So one of the questions that were asked while he was on the Hill was all about, were banks underleveraged? And his answer, because I did watch it, his answer was it was part of the problem. He never fully said anything about that was it. He said it was part of the problem because one of the Congress people did ask their questions. How long will it take Joey to beat up Glenn? Well, I'm ending that poll. That poll is ended. All right. So, 20%. I hate you right now, Joey. Joey would give you a quantum beating? Are you crazy? Are all of y'all crazy? I ended that poll. That poll was... And don't answer the question, Sonny. Don't even think about answering the question. 20% increase in capital requirements could definitely affect banks. All right. The decision is a continuation of a slowdown because the question came up, why did the Fed hold steady on the interest rates? The decision is a continuation of a slowdown pause with FOMC members seeing a rate hold as appropriate after reaching restrictive levels. The economy continues to perform as projected. Interest rates may be raised twice this year. In that poll, raised twice this year. There is a little further to go. All right. The 20% increase on bank capital. Much of Thursday's Q&A session focused on the impending increases in capital requirements for the U.S. banks. A couple of senators asked questions. Powell acknowledged the existence of a trade-off between increasing bank capital and facilitating the flow of capital to the economy. Powell emphasized the necessity of financial institutions maintaining a healthy in light of the recent collapse of Silicon Valley and Signature Bank. Powell hinted at a potential 20% rise in bank capital requirements from present levels, with a special focus on globally systemic banks. Now, if they're going to have to raise capital, where does the money come from? Anybody want to answer that question? Where does the money come from? How do they increase their capital? How do they increase their capital? Anybody want to answer? Pose a question, pose an answer to that. How do they raise their capital? Is it the government? There we go. And if it's the Fed, what does 20% increase in capital mean? More money to back up the money that they already have on hand. That's what I look at in increase in capital. That's what I look at it as increasing capital, is that they've got to have more banks. 20% increase in bank capital requirements. The requirement to have X amount of money on hand is going to go up by 20%. So that's the way I look at it. And how are they going to do that? Is it the Fed? I don't know. I don't know. So I'm probably going to look more into that. But I thought that was a big story. I still think that banks have some more downside. All right. And from this story, I'm going to put in another, from the bank story, I'm going to put in another something that I want you to keep your eyes on as far as a contra ETF, BMKD. All right. That's another contra that I want to keep your eyes on because I still think that banks have a ways to go. Look at this, up over 5%. Both of these are contra ETFs. Looking at the negative news in both of these industries. All right. So remember, this is Trending Thursday. I want to talk about what's going on to keep you guys in the know to make some money. Here's a story that I want to talk about. Capital also has restrictions on how held, says Michael. All right, got you. Michael, my other Michael says sell bonds. But who's going to buy them? if the bank debt doesn't look like somebody really wants it, how do you make, you're gonna have to raise the rate, the return rate on it. Do they become junk bonds, Michael, in order to, I don't think I think that's going too far to call them junk bonds. But they're going to have to raise, in order to get people to buy those bonds, they're going to have to give a higher return. All right. In other words, more clients having money in savings accounts. Who's putting money in a savings account? Where? Now, that's another way in order to get money, more money in the bank, is to raise interest rates. Interesting. Peter says, Glenn, the Fed will supply the funds to the bank so the public can feel secure. So then what is the Fed doing? Oh, they're spending money. Oh, what does that do? That affects inflation. Is this a win-win situation, or is this just bailing the banks out? But now inflation becomes a problem again. This is why I just wanted to talk about it. Here's another story I want to talk about. All right, Jimmy, please stop putting your stocks in. I'm going to start taking stocks off the end when we go look at stocks. I'm not ready to talk about stocks yet. This is another saying that's being used. Greedflation is replacing inflation as companies raise prices for bigger profits, reports find. How many people? I know that we are under the inflation issue. And, my wife went shopping the other day, and she was complaining. She was like, "Baby, I'm carrying 3 bags of groceries in, and this was like $90. I know we're all in that same situation, right? How many people out there agree with the term greedflation, that the companies that are out there are perpetrating, that the prices are as high as they are because of inflation? But we're starting to watch inflation fall, but prices on goods are still high. How many of you think that companies are being greedy? Type a 1. Or let's type a 2 if you think that this is just the natural order of things. This word, this greedflation, caught my attention, because are we moving away from actual inflation and watching prices go up because of actual inflation? Or are companies being greedy? Now, when I say greedy, are companies doing what they need to do to stay positive in the world of stocks? If inflation goes up, prices on goods go up. All right, so I'm looking at that. But are they going up too much, or are they keeping them held at a higher level for a longer amount of time to pad the bottom line? Again, no judgment. This is a conversation. This is strictly a conversation. And I don't know where I stand on this yet. I know that the natural order of things is that as inflation hits, prices go up. That's what inflation is. But this story is saying the practice by many S&P 500 food and consumer companies of raising prices to protect what a new report is calling their cushioned corporate profits, and it's enabled them to boost margins through the current inflationary period. I love companies that I hate, but I buy the stocks of greedy companies, says Neil. I don't know how I feel about that, but if it makes money, I guess if it makes money, it makes sense if it makes dollars, right? Isn't it about supply and demand? If people can sell it cheaper, they would. Michael, yes, you would think it's about supply and demand. But is it? But is it? And I guess that's what this story is going after. Is it? So bad the bottom line plus delay in decreasing inflation on prices of goods, Thomas. I'm glad I'm seeing a lot of names chatting in today that haven't normally chatted in. This is why I wanted to have this conversation. This is a new term out there. I don't know if you've heard the term, but I saw the story, and you're looking at Kimberly-Clark, Pepsi, General Mills, Tyson Food. These are all companies that we got to pay a bigger amount of money to because of inflation. Very interesting. Inflation up by 6%. Some products are up 100% or more. So then that becomes more greedflation than inflation, right, Charbel? All right. Again, this is a story that I just wanted to have a conversation on because I want to start to see, does this word start pick up momentum? Arnold says supply and demand only applies with a large number of participants. It's true. It's got to be a large supply, a large demand, and then that supply will be affected. But I think, I don't know if it's just a large, Arnold. Thank you for chatting in. For all those people that normally don't chat in, thank you very much for chatting in today. I appreciate that. Of course, I love that name, Joe Mama. Your Canadian Fed governor just charged a bread company for a price gouging. Oh, did they really? So greedflation could also be looked at as price gouging. Maybe that's a different way of saying price gouging. I just saw the term. I wanted to have a conversation. And Mark is right. I think not only cereal boxes are getting smaller, I think a lot of packaging is getting smaller, but we're paying more money. Do you agree with that? Yes or no? I think a lot of packaging is becoming smaller, yet we're paying more money. Do you agree with that? Yes or no? Some are taking advantage, like the $5 per gallon of gas on 9/11. Listen, gas has come down, but it ain't where it was in the last administration. That's all I got to say about that. All right, but that's part of inflation. All right, let's get off that. I'm thinking that price gouging greedflation is another way of saying price gouging. Mike says that's called shrinkflation. I agree with that. Probably not known to most VectorVest user, as Too Short said. If I don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Listen, I use that a lot. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Canada bread fined $50 million for price fixing. Wow, Neil. I didn't know that. All right, let's talk about jobs. Jobless claims hit the highest level since late 2021. Are layoffs getting worse? For those of you who follow me on Twitter, I tweet out a lot of job layoffs that keep happening as they keep happening. But unemployment filings rise from historic lows. Is what's going on in the economy starting to affect the job market the way the Fed said? Now, the Fed is thinking that even with the low unemployment, that he can still get to that 2% in inflation. Man, he's really adamant about that. And I as I said yesterday, or I might have said in a video, I don't know. I'm thinking that right now he may do every other month raise. I don't think the raises have stopped. I think we all know that. But he may just pause, raise. I think you should just keep freaking raising until you get to the point where you need to be. But a lot of people in this room have said to me that it will crash the economy. It ain't crashing the economy yet. All right, talking about that, talking about jobless levels. How about this? Another Uber slashes 200 jobs on recruitment division. So why are the jobless claims coming up? Because layoffs are taking hold. Layoffs are taking hold. Thomas says, was just going to say similar to when oil companies were called greedy. Meanwhile, profits in that industry take years. And you got a point there, Thomas. The current administration was saying that the oil companies were price gouging. I didn't see that at all. So I'm wondering if I'm looking at the food the same way as I look at fuel. Remember, those two things are not looked at in the CPI number, not in the core number. But those two things people are saying we gouging on. I think that the reason, if you did take those two into effect, food and fuel, you know where inflation would be? Double digits. I think most people don't realize that. That's why they take food and fuel out of the equation when they look at inflation. If you put food and fuel both into in the real inflation number, inflation is double digits. All right, inflation is double digits, and most people don't realize that. All right, let me go down. Shrinkage. Amir says, don't you think ever found just raising prices because they are just making money is just awful? What companies are doing, easing rate is going to kill the middle class. Rich one. You do know, as I talk about gouging, and we talk about supply and demand and price changes is part of capitalism, right? We all know that. The problem is, and it brings up that question, are these companies becoming greedy in affecting us adversely by keeping prices higher longer than they should to make, to for their own margin? That becomes price gouging. But capitalism means, just like someone said about supply and demand, you charge more if the demand is higher. That's capitalism. There's nothing wrong with that. I think there is something wrong if you keep prices superficially high to rake in more profits. And I don't think we did that with oil. I think at the time when oil was getting higher and higher and higher because the demand was high. And then after that, I'm unpinning. How do I unpin that? I swear I will shut this whole thing down, Joey.
Oh God.
Um,
You can't even unpin it. How you gonna
I don't know. I don't know how to unpin it. Oh, I do know how to unpin it, don't I? Yeah, unpin. I unpinned it. All right. So I think we start walking a slippery slope when we start talking about greedflation or price gouging in capitalism. All right. So that's just the way I look at things. I'm not trying to take any political side at all. This is a conversation. And this conversation is important because it affects stocks. All right. So it's not like I'm just yip yapping. This whole idea of these companies, do you invest in these companies or no? All right. Do you invest in the Tysons and the Kimberleys because they're making money? Are they making money? And if they're making money, they're making a lot of money if they're keeping prices artificially high just to bring in more money. So that's the reason why we're talking about this conversation. All right. Nothing more, nothing less. Does anyone think the low unemployment is understated? People who have exceeded the length of unemployment stop filing, and that causes unemployment numbers. So that's true, Thomas. A lot of it depends on participation. How many people are actually participating in the job market? I know that during COVID, a lot of people pulled out of unemployment because they took on the roles of being entrepreneurs. I think that that's going to start coming to fruition to see how many of those companies actually lasted after they became entrepreneurs. That could take a lot and put a lot more people back into the job market as far as looking as well. Keep that in mind. Chris says, so far I haven't seen any huge increase in gross profit margins in the last earnings releases. Could be coming though, I guess. We'll take a look and we'll keep our eyes on that, Chris. All right. Next one. We talked about Uber. We talked about the jobless claims. How about this? People still spending money. Olive Garden parent earnings beat estimates fueled by what? Strong Longhorn Steakhouse sales. Everybody who knows me knows I love steak. I love bacon and steak. I think I can eat bacon and steak for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Nate says, my household unemployment is 75%. 3 people in my house don't get unemployment anymore, so it would be like Thomas said. Interesting. So if they're not getting unemployment, they're not in the system. But we're not looking at that number, right? We're not looking at that number. So that plays a role too. It does play a role, Nate. Thank you for that. That's what I think too when it comes to capitalism. Why aren't you investing in these companies that are raising rates and making huge gains on profits? You know something? Then after a while, EJM, it becomes a moral question. Yeah, think about that. It becomes a moral question. You may like a stock, but, you look at Nike, you look at Apple, you hear the stories of people in sweat houses making these products. Does that stop you from buying the product? Again, another question. And a lot of people, that affects them morally, and they won't buy into those companies. So there you go, EJM, when it comes down to that. Yeah, it sucks to buy eggs at 8 or whatever it is, but you are making $200 profit, then why worry? Why worry is because I ain't trying to spend $8 on a dozen eggs. That sucks for me. Or when you got Nate and you got people in the house that are unemployed and you're trying to supply food for all of those people in the house, that sucks. That sucks. All right. So, interesting in that story. What is that? DRI and Uber. I got to put those on my list. Darden. So big news on them was earnings. They beat earnings. People got to eat. And Uber. What was Uber? Uber. All right. So which one in here is negative? Let's go see. Which negative? DRI. Interesting. They beat earnings, but look at the price movement. Fundamentally sound stock too. But look at that. Down today. Why? We'll talk about that in a second. All right. What other things are in my list? Robinhood. Look at this. Robinhood buys a credit card provider, X1, for $95 million. X1 is a trading platform that offers a no-fee credit cards and rewards on purchases. The move could help Robinhood diversify its revenue stream after reporting a decline in users and trading revenue. So, Robinhood has gotten a bad rap because stuff. All right, stopping on the, when the meme stocks were going, da-da-da-da-da. So now they're bringing another revenue stream. That's not a bad business move on them. Jerry says, I'm unemployment and got laid off, but can't get unemployment benefits because they claim they overpaid me. Wow, that's poopy. Sonny says, most people are governed by their wallets, not principle. But some people are governed by their principles. I think that's a minority of investors, Sonny, but some people are governed by their principles. Appleton Cook requested a 40% pay reduction from his annual $99 million. Why, Rick? Because he felt bad about how they made the products? I don't know why. If you have a good product or service, you can raise the price and people will pay. Is this not free enterprise? If I do not like your price, I can go. And Peter, that's exactly what that's what I'm talking about as far as capitalism. I'm loving this conversation, by the way. That's exactly what I'm talking about, capitalism. That's what capitalism is all about. And if I think that your price is too high, I can go to someplace else. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So this is kind of interesting on Robinhood. Let's go put that into the list. All right. Increasing, especially if they're losing on how much money they've got in the trading accounts and they're losing on people. Look at that. It's at the bottom of the list, though. At the bottom of the list and down the most for the day. I agree, Jake. What did Jake say? Sigh. What did you say, Jake? Morality and ethics seem to be very touchy subject for investors. EJM says, I agree, Jake. Like the game we play about companies work to buy a new one and sell an old one. People are working for these companies. That's why we see unemployment levels. Why won't companies use the entrepreneur trend to their advantage to let markets rise naturally instead of potentially? Coded Quixotic. No. Quixotic. What was it? Quixotics. Yeah. That goes down another whole question of government play in this sphere. Government play in this space. I'm not getting into that, though. I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting into that. Nate says, our government has allowed too many monopolies for true supply and demand. I don't know if we have. I think that the monopoly laws are well in place. We're teetering on some monopolies, but there are other places. There's probably a couple of industries where I'm incorrect, though. There's probably a couple of industries, Nate, where I am incorrect. But I think for the most part, we don't have a lot of monopolies at all. All right, let's go see what other stocks what other stocks I have in the news. Couple. AMD. Ryan did a great job yesterday talking about TSM, ASML, and all that. How about this? Just to follow up on his story yesterday, AMD to spend $135 million on chip research and development in Ireland. All right, top of the morning to y'all, Charlie. All right. You might, Rabbit. If my friend Muggsy was in the stove, would I light the stove and throw a match in? You might, Rabbit. You might. How many of you know that reference? You might, Rabbit. You might. Also, shut up, shutting up. That was in the same episode. Shut up, shutting up. This is aiming at AI, data center, and mobile tech. This is kind of a big move. This is kind of a big move. More AI fuel. That's a lot of money in a different country. That's a lot of money in a different country. It wasn't. Jake, did you really put Pee Wee Herman? Did you really put Pee Wee Herman? That's Pee Wee Herman was really weird. He was scared. He was really, really weird. Pee Wee Herman was really weird. All right. AMD down after that news. Interesting. You would think that that would be good news, Michael, right? You would think that that would be good news. And then Neil says Ireland had favorable tax laws. You know, nothing wrong with that. But I think that this is big news. I still think that the AI space is still hot. I think it's just taking a breather right now. Let's go put AMD in the list. AMD. Will AI replace human jawboners on CNBC? Maybe at some point in time, but not yet. Mark says, okay, I'm back. You may continue. Oh, I'm glad we waited for you, Mark. Not. All right, Nate, they can't slam the major for, y'all are getting into that. And I hear you. I'm loving the conversation in the background. That's awesome. I'm just not going to get into the political side of it. I do love the conversation on the other side, folks. I'm glad that we're having this talk. I think because we all know that it does affect the market adversely. What was I getting ready to put in here? Did I put it in here already? Joey, are you keeping up? AMD was what I was going to put in there. Joey's not keeping up. How many of you have been watching my de-dollarization videos on the YouTube channel? Type of 1. All right. The possibility that the dollar could be replaced as global currency. Type of 1 if you've watched those videos. If you haven't, type the 2. All right. I took Ryan's advice, and you should too. I put 100% of my holdings into. No, you didn't, Trader Mac. Yeah, and that's not what Ryan said. That is so not what. Don't. I'm protecting Ryan while he ain't here. He so did not say that, Trader. I'm delicate with it. I promise. Not overly political views. That stuff is just news, not to be. You know, I got you. I got you, EJ. I hear you. Politics is tough on our side. There you go. A lot of people have not seen the videos. Joey, give them the link to the first one. Give them the link to the first one. Joey's going to put the link to the first one. Watch it. A lot of people have been talking about the dollar losing its dominance as the world currency. I've got 3 or 4 videos out on that. The BRICS is covered in this, Michael. The BRICS countries are covered in this. And one of my big thing about the BRICS currency is that the companies you're looking at, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Those are the 5 countries included in the BRICS. And more people are trying to get on board with it. The problem is that you look at the United States as a currency, we're a stable country. You look at those 5 countries out there that for the BRICS, they're unstable countries. You look at more countries that are trying to be a part of the BRICS, are unstable countries. If you're a part of an unstable consortium, how do you put out a stable currency? Now, somebody will combat that and say it's because they got the gold. I got a video that talks about how much gold they have compared to we have. Folks, go check out that video. There's about 3 or 4 videos in that series of the possibility of the dollar going through de-dollarization, number 1, and how close we are or far away we are from losing our foothold on the global currency. And I talk a little bit about the BRICS. All right, Michaels, you guys need to check out those videos. All right. So Morgan Stanley wants to I don't know if that was bad. As Mike Wilson, I don't know what cream us into this. I don't know what that means. Because I don't know what it means, I'm not going to say it. Gold is going down recently. Why, Michael? Because the dollar's still strong. All right. When I'm looking at timing getting into the dollar, it's all about where getting to gold. It's all about where the dollar is. The dollar's still strong. I'm not a fan. Okay. Thank you, Joey. What? Thank you, Joey. Unpin that. Man, I feel good. Thank you, Joey, for what? What did Joey do? Joey didn't do anything. Yeah. What did Joey do? Oh, he put the link? No, he said, okay, thank you, Joey. You didn't do nothing. What did you do? Joey's in the background laughing today because he's just on one. All right. He's just on one. The number one thing you must have in the world currency is a stable democratic country or region. All right. I agree with that. And you look at the BRICS countries. The only other country, oh yeah, the only other country that would have a chance at this point is the euro, and we're still blowing the euro out the water. The biggest contributor to the euro is Germany. I mean, that's the biggest contributor. Not only that, where do they have the gold? You know, part of the reason to come to the table to be looked at as the world currency is how much gold you have. In order to be, you got to have a lot of gold to even come to the table. You got to have, it's in those videos. You guys got to watch those videos. Watch those videos. I think that people are talking about it, but people don't understand where we stand. And they keep getting, I don't want to call misinformation or disinformation. I think what they're getting is information, and they're going, oh yeah, the dollar's going to, check out the videos. Check out the videos. Michael says, US dollar has been in free fall the last month. Check your charts. Oh, I'm okay with that, Michael. But you know something? Let me talk a little bit about that. The DXY, I'm going to put in, let's go. I'll put in DXY, but I'm also going to put in UUP. Both of these are checking the dollar. So you want to talk about, and this is great answer, Michael, that the dollar's been in free fall. Let's go look at both of these. Put them on the graph, but I want to show you free fall, one thing. Being, let's go put it on a 1 year graph. Free fall, one thing. But is it? All right, we've fallen. We're in a channel. All right, that's on UUP, and that's on DXY. I think they both look pretty good, pretty the same. So fallen, we're at 102. I want to show you something. Let's go to a 10-year graph. It's 10 years. So the other times when we've fallen, what have we done each time? We've rebounded. That's a big fall. That's back in 2000. And I want this. I love the answer, Michael. But look at this. 2016. That was a hard fall. 2000. This has got to be 2020. Yep. Hard fall. Look at that rebound. We're in a hard fall and we're in a sideways move by now. All right, so and over the last 10 years, we're still higher. We're still higher than we were 10 years ago. So when I sit back and I look at the news, about, as you said, Michael, about being in a free fall, this ain't the first time, and it won't be the last time, but we're still higher than we were 10 years ago. All right, so Michael, does that make sense, or am I just yip-yapping? All right. I got you, trader. I can do that. You know, do you think I'm just? So I've done a lot of research on this whole dollar thing, and I just don't think that we're anywhere near a panic mode. I don't think that we are anywhere near a panic mode. All right. Wow, new person, Mr. Tiny Tiger 5. The sound is not good. Turn up the mic. That's Joey's fault. Joey's too busy posting stuff that he shouldn't be posting. It's all Joey's fault. All right. So I think that was the last story that I had, was about the dollar. I think it was. No, I got one more. This is going to lead me into another story. PepsiCo stock is recharged and ready to rise. I got some stocks for you. I got my theme to this week is going to be summer stocks. I already put out a video about summer stocks, but I'm going to talk about it again today. I'm going to put Pepsi in here. All right. I love the conversation today. How many of you felt that the conversation was a good conversation today? Type of 1. If you thought that I just bloviated and talked about a whole bunch of nothing, type of 2. How many of you thought today's conversation was a really good, productive conversation? Type of 1. If you think that I was opining or bloviating, type of 2. I like to have these kinds of conversations because these kind of conversations affect the market and it affects our ability to make money in the market. All right. EJM said felt less stock driven. You know, we still talked about stocks, but you got to have these. Trader Matt, I'm putting you in timeout. How about that? Glenn isn't man enough to take responsibility. For what? Unpinning. Whatever. I just unpinned. Thanks, Glenn. This stuff really works. There you go, Jake. Which is good news for news ideas and what markets are growing? Well, I got you. I'll talk about that a little bit. All right. Jim says, JM says 1.4. Michael says 1.5. I'll take that. All right, so here's the stocks that were on the news, that were in the news. If I'm looking at any stocks by way of CI, which ones would I be more? Darden, even though it's down, fundamentally sound, good CI. Uber, even though they cut jobs, CI above 1. Pepsi, I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a second. AMD, I like the play in regards to the investment, even though it's outside of the country. The dollar, you got to watch the videos. Joey put the link. I'll do it again, Joey. Put the link. Put the link again. Go to the first one. There's either 3 or 4 videos on de-dollarization. I need you guys to check that out. I need you guys to go check that out. I think it was well put together. I did a lot of research to come to the conclusion that I did. Robinhood buying a credit card, I don't think that's good, bad, or indifferent. I don't care. The real estate, and the banks contras. I want you guys to keep your eyes on those two. And don't forget about tomorrow's video. I need you guys to keep your eyes. I think that these can make you a lot of money in what could be perceived as the market moving down for a little bit. Less stock talk is good for opening our eyes to what markets are growing. Listen, I try to bring a lot of cool stuff to the table for you. All right, because the market is the way that it is, I didn't make a lot of stocks for you today. I don't feel comfortable telling you to go buy stocks when I look at the market looking like this. It's on a 3-month graph. When I look at the market looking like this, and now look at that. We got a little bit could be a forming a hammer right here. But as the market is doing this, right now I'm just telling you to manage the stocks that you're in. We still got another whole day of trading. We still got another hour or so worth of trading. But when I'm looking at this, I feel a little bit more comfortable and concentrating more on the contra ETFs right now. That's where I want, but I want you guys for the standpoint of the contras to know that these are trades. These are not long-term holdings, but DRVs towards the top of the list. BNKD is not in my list. These are my top 11 though. SRTY dealing with the Russell 2000, small caps, high beta. I think I'd rather right now, if you're still long stocks, tighten the stops on them, but I would use some contras as hedges. All right, so that's one thing that I want to talk about. The other thing I want to talk about is my weekly theme. My theme for the week, I've got a video out there for summer stocks for 2023. Joey, can you find that one? Give them a link to that. I did a video earlier in the year about it. I have just tightened stops. What are good contras? I just gave you Glenn. Ooh, Glenn with 2 hands. I just gave you those.
What video?
My summer stocks for 2020. Did I give summer stocks for 2023? Or did I give summer stocks?
You did.
All right. Joey's going to put that link up there. I gave summer stocks. This is another listing of stocks for the summer. I'll explain why. Contra ETFs. Here's my contras. This is a list of some contras for you to keep your eyes on. Glenn, take a picture, however you want to do. But these are some contras. None of these have a CI above 1 yet, which could be very interesting. All right. And I really want to see whichever ones had an RT above 1. None of them yet. But this is, stops not working properly on SOXL. I'm not sure what you're saying. I know that they get, be careful with the triple leverage. You don't want to hold them more than a couple of days before you go to stop them out and get back in. All right. So my weekly theme, my summer stocks. Yesterday was the longest day of the year. We hit the summer solstice. Why not get ready for summer stocks? Airlines make sense. People are traveling for Norwegian cruise lines, renting cars when you're traveling. That's Avis. Camping World. If you don't want to travel, you want to camp at Camping World. I think these are good summer stocks. Doing some home remodeling. Home Depot is up there. If you're traveling, Airbnb. If you're traveling, Hilton. If you want to add some coolness to your house, like Joey's about to, go buy a pool. Winnebago goes with Camping World. And which makes the list, because it's Disney World, Disney World does make the list. But there's a lot of PR going along with it because of the fight with Disney and the governor of Florida. Because of inflation, are people willing to pay Disney's prices to get to the parks are already freaking high. With inflation, they're even higher. So are people really, and I think that they are, I think people are still willing to pay for the Disney experience. So Disney made my list. All right, so these are the stocks, some of my summer stocks. Delta's on there. American Airline may not be a bad one to be in there as well. I have bought SMCI, NVIDIA, and Tesla. Says I'm there. That's fine. Some are stocks, some are not. You talking about here, Mark? All of these are stocks. None of these are none of these are ETFs. All of these are stocks. Does Disney seem cheap to anyone? EJM asks. I don't think Disney seems cheap to anybody. Now, me, I'm a millionaire. I got tons of money, and Disney's still expensive. Joey, on the other hand, is like, I didn't say nothing, Joey. I didn't say nothing. You keep saying summer stocks. What are you talking about, Mark? What are you talking about, Mark? Yeah.
It's a joke. It's a joke. Summer.
Wow. That's not even funny. That's not even a little funny.
It's more funny that you don't get it.
It's not even funny. So there's a lot of disdain going against Disney right now, but I'm putting it on the list as a summer stock. Who goes to Disney in a period like this? A lot of people, EJM. A lot of people. All right. I looked at Disney prices a week ago. It's especially crazy if you have Canadian dollars. Oof. Mark is LOLing. I'm not listening to you right now, Mark. All right. So those are my, I've got my weekly theme this week is summer stocks. I've got you a list of summer stocks to keep your eyes on. I will spend a little bit extra time today. Looking at your stocks. All right. Joey keeps putting stuff up and I keep taking it down because I learned how to do that. Joey, you can't stop me. You're not the boss of me. All right. You might be a little bit of the boss of me. Just a little bit of the boss. What did you just take my chat for?
Took it. I took it back. Now you don't have it.
Better give me back my chat.
Look at all this.
Stop messing with my chat. Stop. I can't even see the stocks. That's Joey's fault. Joey took my chat away. Now I can't see the stocks. I got to start it all over again. Oh my gosh. I hate you, Joey. All right, I went back to the top of the list. SAIA. Stop! I need to put these stocks in here. SAIA, comma. I'm going to fight you. I am going to fight you. We're going to have a grudge match. We're going to have a grudge match. It might, it may go viral. This may be what we need to go viral. Agent Crumby, I'm only going to take one of your stocks. I want everybody to get a chance to get a stock in. Okay, Agent Crumby. CX, YPF, a stock that I currently still own. It's making good money, Nate. That's scary to me that I am all for enjoying your money, but wait for an economic turnaround before getting wrecked at Disney. HL, what just happened? What just happened? Where's HL? I was just at HLT. Did it go away? I don't know. There we go. HLIT. All these stocks, it's all Joey's fault because I couldn't get them. CK. Trader Matt, I'm only taking one of your stocks. EXTR. Joey will be smoking on some Glen, whatever. I don't know why you guys, that's all right. I'm going to stop doing live streams. I know how to fix all y'all. I'm going to stop doing live streams. All right? That's all right. Go ahead and support Joey and support Boston and all that stuff. Go ahead. I'm gonna stop doing live streams. And then when you don't see nobody on here, AEHR, then what? That's all right. AMPH. That's all right. I'm gonna fix all of y'all. Merck, Amazon, AMD. I think AMD is on here. No, it's not. DDOG, DDOG, ARES, It Takes Two, TTWO, Decker, GFL, AEHR is already there, T-Mobile, T-Mobile.
How many are you gonna do? You doing everybody's?
Maybe it's your fault. Oh, it's TM. If you wouldn't have messed it up, I might have been done by now. All right, there we go. I still miss some stocks because it was all your.
Just call me when you're done.
Okay. I'll just call you when you're like Joey. All right. Don't you stop these live streams. No, I am, because Joey, I don't, because y'all keep backing up Joey. I'm not gonna do a live stream. VIV. I'll do VIV. Didn't I just do a VIV? VIV. All right. I think I did. It was 20. It's a lot of stocks. All right. Let's look at it from this perspective, based upon who gave me what stocks. AEHR, good stock at the top of the list. Merck is already up there, Kev. And it's been a long time too, bro. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. AEHR, top of the list by VST. At the bottom of the list, who gave me GFL? Who gave me GFL? Who's going to have the intestinal fortitude to tell me that they gave me GFL? Type of me in the room. Oh, was Amir? Amir, did you give me GFL?
There was Jason Garrett.
Oh, Jason didn't have the intestinal fortitude to tell me that he put it up here? All right, let's go take a look. Jason. Oh, dang. Joey depended. Why'd you put him on blast like that? Why'd you put him on blast?
I called him out. I mean, might as well just go ahead and put it up there.
All right. Let me go see the last one. Jason, let's see what you like about the stock. Grossly overvalued. Upside's not there. Safety's not there. It's got an RT. I wonder if it's news driven. Let's view the stock graph. Nothing fundamentally sound about the stock. Let's put this on a 1 month graph. 3 month graph. It's pulling down. What's the news on it? What's the news on it? Jason, there it is. Jason said it. Jason, do you own it? Yes or no? Look at GFL 4 days ago. I want to concentrate on the stocks at the bottom of the list to help you guys out. If you gave me those stocks, I want to pay attention to the stocks at the top of the list as well. There's nothing that I like about GFL, except for it's nicely above the stop price. So fundamentally, the fundamentals are not there. Relative value, relative safety are not there, but the stop price looks solid as a way to get out of it. I need this stock to go higher than that 3 month high before I even think about getting into it. If you own it, Jason, and you don't want to get rid of it just yet, I would say use that level of support right here. I'm going to give you a stop price of about $35.76 on an end of day basis. If it goes below that, I think that's probably a good opportunity to get out. It's been used a couple of times. That's probably a good way to get out of it. All right. What else is at the bottom? Let's go take a look at the few on the bottom. All right. These are TLT. Wow, that's the 20-year bond. Is that not? A lot of people are saying that 20-year, the inverted yield is showing that we're getting ready for a bear market. ASRT, drug company. What's the value? I don't know what the value is. Something's going on with it. It flirted with the stop price. The 3 is above the 8. I've got a level of resistance, though. It's sitting at 650. I need to see it break above that. I don't know what news is pushing it higher right now. Nice little level of support breaking back up. RT is above 1. If you own it, leave it alone. A good opportunity to get out is when the 3 goes below the 8 like it did back here. That's what I'd be looking for before I get out of it. If you own it for a reason. But that's what I'd be looking for. Can you give one tip today? Should we buy or sell today? Amir. Don't touch that, Joey. This will answer your question. All right. This will answer your question. Stop touching it. This will answer your question right here. Where's my homepage, Joey? Sigh. Oh, there it is. What do you see going on, Amir? I'm just telling you to use common sense. Primary wave is down for 2 days in a row. The market's up, but it's just the NASDAQ really going up. That's one thing that tells me no. Another thing that tells me no is I got a red candle to the downside. I got a rebound going on today. I got a little bit of a rebound. Let's go put the market on 5-minute bars. Are you comfortable to buy into the market today? If I'm thinking about trying to buy into the market today, I'm looking to see if we can overcome the gap down. All right, that's the only way I see the market having upside. Amir, does that make sense? All right, does that make sense to everybody in here? Agent Crumbie, I'm going to get to TLT in a second. Does that make sense to everybody in here? All right, if I'm thinking about buying stocks today, I see the rebound. I do. But I'm looking at this level right here. I'm looking at this level right here to see if the market can overcome the gap down. All right, Mark says, thank you, Glenn. You know I love you, brother. See you tomorrow in the Jockey Club where I don't have the watch list filled. I'll see you tomorrow, Mark. That's the answer to your question, Amir. All right, that's the answer to your question. If I'm looking longer term, what to do, put this back on the 3-month graph. We're still in a downtrend from the high. We're still in a downtrend from a high. And I'm right with EJM. This is an opportunity for you to lock in profits on some of your stocks. Talking about locking in profits on some of these stocks, if these are stocks that you own, DDOG, I'm watching DDOG come down to a level of support. And I think that a lot of you get scared sometime in taking your profits early. I'm going to always tell you, I love using the 3 and the 8 to get in, but I'll use the 3 and the 8 to get out. When the 3 goes below the 8, I'll take that off the table. And what did that happen? Even with doing that, what's the stock doing? Moving sideways. So I'm going to take into consideration that the stocks that you've given me are stocks that you currently own. AMD, as much as I love the space, whether it's AMD, NVIDIA, TSM, ASML, SMCI, all of those stocks. But you know something? You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. The 3 crossed below the 8 on 6/16. If you like the 3 and the 8 to get in, you should utilize the 3 and the 8 to get out. And if you're still holding AMD, man, then let me give you an opportunity to know when to get out. How about right here? See the gap? See that gap up? Guess what? It's starting to fade the gap. It's starting to fade the gap. So not only do you have the 3-8 cross here, you've now got the 3-8 cross right here. You got the 3-8 cross and breaking through a level of support, which was the gap. How many of you still holding AMD? And if you are, I'm not going to shout you out, but I'm trying to give you, especially if these are stocks that you still own right now and you want me to look at, I need you to not take big losses, and I need you to not give back the profits that you've made on this. Can you use the 3-8 as a stop in portfolios? Not yet, Tom. And when we can, that will be a happy day. When we can, Tom, that will be a happy day. All right. So if these are stocks that you're holding, I'm analyzing from that perspective. CX, love that. Building cement, one of the stocks that was in my list. I think it is one of the stocks that is in my list. What's happening today? Look at that. The 3 and 8 is closing to the downside. Don't be afraid to take the stop, take the profits. Don't be afraid to take the profits. That's it. That's as simple. That's as simple as that. It really is. Any other stocks that you own? Wow, Amazon. Listen, there's nothing telling me to sell this. But would I be adverse to you taking some profits off the table, especially knowing where the market's going? Nope. I would say take half off. You're still in the game. Take half off. You're still in the game. Think about that. All right. Next one. Sigh. There we go. I've done videos on TTWO. Wow, look at that. 3-8 fell, found a level of support. 3-8 hit, still going. Right now, right at a 3-month high. If you own it, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Or, because you're at that level of resistance, don't be afraid to take half off the table. Glenn, can you explain a stop price and after hours? A stop price is the level. The stop price is a level where you get stopped out of the stock. You stop trading the stock. All right. In this case, a good stop level right now. See, this is another gap. Look at that. I could have either gotten out when the stock started fading the gap or when the 3-8 cross, which would have happened right here. It faded the gap and the 3-8 cross right after each other. Wait for a better opportunity for the 3 and the 8 to get in and then go. What is the 3 and the 8? The 3 and 8 exponential moving averages. 3 and 8 EMAs. That's what I'm looking at. The green line is the 3, the red line is the 8. A 3 and an 8 exponential moving average. Okay? What else is in this list? Viv. So Viv, right now, right at a level of resistance, pulling back, what would I do? I would either think about taking half off the table now because it's starting to converge down, or wait for confirmation of the 3 going down below the 2, the 8. All right. Notice that I'm not looking at earnings per share on any of these. I'm really strictly looking at price action, Nate. You see that? Say, I'm okay with looking at earnings and stuff to get in. That'll help me determine whether or not I want this as a long-term play. But if I'm thinking about right now to get this stay in, even if earnings are good, I'm looking at technical stuff to help me to get out and take profits. Tilt at a level of resistance, a beautiful level of resistance, hasn't been able to break across. Right now, it's going down. I'd wait for the 3 to cross below the 8 before I pull the trigger and get out. Now, let's go back to that list and look at the stocks that you had at the top of the list. Go back to the viewers. Let's go back to the viewers. Let's go look at the top few. Go down the deck. Somebody wanted me to give insight on TLT, and I did. I wanted you to be aware of that. Let's go look at these real quick. Put these on a 3-month graph. AEHR, even on the pullback, the 3.8 would have gotten you out. I wouldn't have mind taking half off the table right there and still been in and using this level as my line in the sand to totally get out. But even if I took half off the table, I'm still in. I got another run about to happen. You said about after hours. I don't understand what you're asking me about, Matt, after hours. A lot of stocks, most stocks don't trade after hours. So it doesn't affect you. Most stocks don't trade after hours. All right? Most stocks don't have the kind of volume to trade after hours. So most of that does not affect you. The movement that you see going on after hours is the big money, moving stocks after hours. But a lot of the brokers out there, there's not enough for you as an individual to make any trades. Stephanie says, NASDAQ moves so strong, difficult not to jump good stocks like Tesla and AEHR. I like to play. All right, next stock. Wow, AMPH. That's a pharmaceutical. There's nothing I cannot say about that. Nice update trading right at session highs. Really, with the stock's price moving up, though, I'd like to see more volume. But the price action is saying rock and roll. Rock and roll is here to stay. Rock and roll is here to stay. EXTR, nice graph, nice moving up, pulling back. Notice 2 days down, the 3 and the 8 never cross negative on the end of day. Look at that, a little bit more rebound. Again, I like that the 3 and the 8, whether it's 3 and the 8 or the stop price, do a great job of keeping you from being impatient. Are you on a week or day? Right now, I'm on end of day. I didn't hear your insight on TLT. I gave my insight on TLT. I didn't like it. It was at a strong level of resistance and retracing from it. It was at a strong level of resistance and retracing from it. I didn't think it was the right time right now on TLT. All right. TS, what is this on? Consumer, isn't this Tesla? Consumer discretion. Look at that pullback. That could make a lot of people panic. But look at the 3 and the 8 end of day and look at the rebound today. Again, I like looking at the 3 and the 8 as a way to keep you from make you the right decisions. I do like the time play right now. Let's go look at SA. Ooh, look at that. Even on the pullback on SAIA, the 3 and the 8 held. I got some selling pressure going on these big wicks here. I got some selling pressure. Fundamentally sound. It's a fundamentally sound stock. Relative value, relative safety, both are above 1. I do like that. Bottom left, top right. I'd still be looking at the 3 and the 8 end of day to see if they cross to the negative. That would be my chance to get out. YPF, a stock that I currently still own, a little bit of a bearish harami. Now, and I'm going to look at this as an owner of the trade. Do I get follow through tomorrow? That's a candlestick pattern known as a bearish harami. If I get followed through, I'll take this profit off the table. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes or no? I own this stock. End of day right now, it's giving me a candlestick pattern of a bearish reversal. If I do get confirmation tomorrow with another bearish candle, I'll take this trade off the table and I'm taking my profits off the table. That's exactly what I'm looking at YPF. That's exactly what I'm looking at YPF. All right. Deck, a little bit of a gravestone doji with follow through. That looks like we could have some downside to that. And we're at a level of support. I wouldn't mind taking my profits off the table here. And if you still think it's got more upside, I take half off the table. But that's a candlestick pattern with follow through. The 3 and the 8 are converging at a level of support. There's a lot of things going on to say it might not be a bad idea to take this out of the way. Fitz says, what's a good resource for a candlesticker? I would say go to candlesticker.com. Candlesticker.com. It's a great resource to teach you about different candlesticks. All right, that's it. That's all the stocks. I need to go. Here. I'm done. Man, we did a lot of stuff today. We talked a lot. You wanted me to spend a little bit more time on your stocks today, and I did. I did because we had a lot of great conversation today. That was good. That was good because I think a lot of times people just want to pump stocks on YouTube. But I think we've got to learn to talk about the reasons why the markets do what they do and how that affects our ability to make money. All right. So Sonny says, great talk show today. I appreciate that. And all the new people who are new to the channel, if you are new to the channel, you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button, please. Hit the bell icon so that you'll be alerted to when new content comes out, number one. Number two, if you like the conversation today and you like the content that we bring, don't forget to hit the like button. After this video is up, don't forget you can still share it after it's recorded. All right? Great, Glenn. If I don't see you tomorrow, have a great time in Nashville. That's right. Next week, folks, just to let you know, there will be no live streams from me. I will be doing a church plant on a missions trip in Nashville, Tennessee. So I'll be gone all of next week. Glenn, how many stocks do you own at any given time? Right now, I'm holding 4 stocks, 2 contras. Right now, I'm holding 4 stocks, 2 contras. Arnold says, nice conversation. Glad I was here. All right. And Lee says, have a great mission trip. Folks, I will see you after next week. Well, I'll have another live stream tomorrow. I'll be on the Jockey Club in the morning, and then I have a live stream at 12. All right. So until then, folks, adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha to all my peeps in Hawaii. Bom dia. Salam, shalom, namaste, yasu. Until next time, folks, see ya.